Okay, now to talk more about the summer of discontent, it's travel, and how it has played out, I'm joined by Johnny Jett. He's the creator of travel website, johnnyjett.com. Johnny Jett, thanks so much for joining us. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Sean.
I appreciate it. Let's talk about domestic travel for consumers over any holiday weekend. You know, what are some of the common concerns? Not just taking what has unfolded in this era of the pandemic.
Well, number one, safety. Number two is price. And number three, these days, it's weather because, even if the airlines are fully staffed and there's bad weather, there's going to be major disruption. So that is what you need to know.
Let's talk about, as the COVID situation begins to calm down a bit, has the industry returned to pre-COVID profit levels at all? Because we just keep hearing about more layoffs, more furloughs, things of that nature.
They're definitely starting to make money. So that's the good news. And the bad news is that the airlines and hotel and actually every industry in the world, they're just not back to staffing. They're all understaffed. They can't get good people to work. And, it's a problem all around. The ex-CEO of British Airways, Willie Walsh, who's now the CEO of IATA, was saying the other day that, in the airline industry, you need to have pilots to come to work, fly the planes, baggage handlers to load the bags, and they just can't get it because of COVID, people are so used to working from home that they don't really want to go back to working in an office or at an airport, and that's why they're having a difficult time, and they're not paying enough money.
Yeah, it seems to make sense, but in this era of the Great Resignation, what are some of the remaining challenges? I mean, how are airlines, airports going to deal with these staff shortages? They just have to if they continue to book flights and business travelers want to go to the air again.
Definitely. Well, they have to pay more money, number one. And the reason why it's taking so long is because, it takes time to train. You just can't bring someone off the street and say, hey, answer these phone calls, load these bags, or check people in, or fly planes. To be a pilot, it takes up to 5 years. So it takes time. It is getting better now that the summer crush is over. I think you're going to see, the airport's not as crowded. You're going to see the planes not as crowded. Prices are definitely going down. But, when Thanksgiving and Christmas rolls around, it's going to be busy again. And if there's bad weather, it's going to be a nightmare.
As someone who has traveled a great deal, and honestly, I must say, I think for the most part, when travel is messed up because of the airlines, because of a problem on their end, whether it be mechanical, not having staff, something of that nature, it seems to me that they're pretty good about taking care of people. They'll give you the voucher to eat something until they can get you on the next flight, or they'll try to get you even on another airline. Do you find that is holding up these days?
It is for the major carriers. The low-fare carriers like Spirit and Allegiant and Frontier, good luck with that. So, know what you're getting into. Sometimes people see a $19 fare and they go after it, but they just don't realize what the airline's actually going to provide. So I always choose a major airline, that will allow me to check a bag or bring a bag on. And then if something goes wrong, they have a lot of frequency, and they'll put me up at a hotel if I needed one. And because you could get stuck for days, and during holidays, it could be longer.
So what role could the U.S. government play in all this, especially on these budget carriers, as you mentioned, in an effort to get the sector back up to speed and making sure the customers are taken care of?
I mean, they just started out rolling out this dashboard last week, and that's a good first step. I think they just need to hold them accountable. And, they fine airlines, but the airlines don't end up paying them. For example, last year or 2 years ago during COVID, Air Canada did not give refunds. So the U.S. fined them $25 million. They ended up settling for like $2 million, which is a drop in the bucket for them. So they really need to hold them accountable. And I think then we'll start seeing major change.
Yeah. Do you think people know when that happens? That sounds great. We're going to fine them $25 million. At the end of the day, they flip you a quarter and say, thanks.
They don't know. You don't hear about it. So that's why, the consumers think, oh, they're doing a great job, but they need to do a better job.
Okay, let's talk about, and we've touched on it, the big travel season coming up. Fall, holiday season, Thanksgiving, Christmas. Are we going to see higher prices because of gas prices are going back up again, fuel prices are going up, and is this going to cause travelers to perhaps rethink things?
No one really knows, but right now the prices are pretty good. So if you're planning on traveling this fall or winter, jump on them now. I always tell consumers to set a fare alert, know what the price is for that route. If it's good, grab it. And these days, if the price does drop, you can get a credit. So call them back up and find out, hey, just make sure you don't book a basic economy ticket. Book a regular ticket, which will allow you to change it for no fee, and then you can make out. You can just always set a fare alert. That's the #1 travel tip, and be flexible.
Okay, we're going to end it there. It's a really great talk to you. Some great information. Thanks to Johnny Jett, creator of the travel website, johnnyjet.com. We appreciate it.
You too.